Hey everybody, thank you for joining me, Krista with Imagine That Scrapbooks and Gifts for ITTV Presents Try It Out Thursdays, week number 47. And in this week what we're going to be doing is making dimensional flowers using a flower punch and a petal roller. But before we get started on making this card, I do need to pick a winner from last week's ITTV Presents. And our winner from week number 46 is Miss Kimberly Oaks Wildman. If you'll please email us at imaginethatscrapbooks@yahoo.com. We'll make sure we get your prize out to you. And if you would like to be a winner of ITTV Presents, make sure you leave a comment on this week's video, either on YouTube or on Facebook. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Alright, let's go get started. Okay, so I have been asked several times on how to make paper flowers look a little bit more realistic and to give them a little bit more dimension. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. Now you can do this technique with bought paper flower, you can do it with a die cut, but I'm going to show you today doing a punch. Now the technique is the same no matter which way you start. Just for today's video purposes, I was going to do this particular punch. So what we're going to do is we're going to punch out our flower shape, and then we're going to use a petal roller and a foam mat. Now you can use an assortment of foam mats. This one is just part of my Score It board. The We Are Memory Keepers foam mat works well, so does the Basil and Stitches. So what you're going to do is use the ball part of your petal roller, and you're going to work your way from the top of the petal down to the center. You're going to do that in small circular motions while you push into the paper. And you can go back over it a couple of times if you want, but you can see how that petal starts to lift. We're going to do that on all of the petals. Now you don't want to push too hard because you don't want to pierce the paper, but you do want to cause it to curl. Now if you're working with a really thick or heavy cardstock, you can also lightly moisten your cardstock by spritzing it with some water. And what that's going to do is loosen up the fibers in the cardstock. Fibers in cardstock are woven like this. By misting it with your water, it's just going to give them a little bit of a give to allow you to bend them and kind of mold them the way we are here. So now what you're going to have here is this little kind of petal ball. Now this works great for the center of your flower if you want it to have kind of those curly little edge, but what I do is flip it over, push down into the center, and we're going to twirl it around. And what that's going to do is give us that nice deep center where we're going to adhere them together with a brad. You can flip it over and continue to kind of shape them until you get the desired shape that you want. So I want those just to poke up just a little bit more. And there we go. So what I've done is I've already rolled some of my petals. We're going to pierce a hole through it. And then we're just going to build our flower using a brad. Okay, so we're going to layer all of our flowers together with a brad, and then just kind of open up your brad. Then what I do is normally push mine down onto the table, and what that's going to do is really flatten out the back part of that brad. Now what you can do is take your petals and start to shape them a little bit more around that brad, depending on how dimensional you want your flower. I normally take this first row of petals and really kind of push it up towards that brad just to give it that tighter look. And then you just kind of keep bending. You can also take your petal roller and you're going to grab the paper in between the petal roller and your thumb and roll it a little bit more. So just kind of depending on what look you're wanting, we're just going to kind of give this a little bit more of an uneven look. And there we go, a paper flower using a punch, a brad, and a petal roller. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add that to our card. So what we're going to do is adhere down our topper onto our card base. There's all sorts of different petal rollers out there. The one I am using is by Imagine. There's also a great one by Making Memories, so definitely check those out. Your coupon code for this week is going to be petal rolling, And our petal rollers will be on sale in store, so make sure you come in and check those out. So now what I've done here is just grabbed a large Zot, placed it onto the back of my flower. We're going to adhere our flower down. Now once again, once you have it onto the card, you can do any other adjusting of your flower that you want. But there we go, a dimensional flower using a flat flower punch or a die cut or a purchased flower. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this technique, and we'll see you next week.